Well, good morning, soul family. It's really good to see you here. Today's a day 11 on the 1st of February. My vibration, I'm feeling incredibly empowered today. I hope you are as well. I can't wait to introduce you to this friend of mine. We have an amazing event this weekend. Her name is Kay Wilson, and I just need to check that she's online and add her in. And we're going to chat about today's energy. So let's see if I can find Kay. There you are. Whoops. See who can add you in. Add yourself in, Kay, if you can. If not, I'll try as well. We'll see who gets there first. Hi, everybody. I'm fumbling away because I've lost my stand and I've got a makeshift stand here. Okay, so let's see. Kay, where are you? I'm just checking the spelling of your... Have you hit the button, Kay? Oh, hey everyone. Just bear with me while I'm fumbling away. I have no requests. I am happy to start again or keep it rolling. I think I'll keep it rolling. I'll give you all more time to get settled. There she is. Sometimes this Instagram add-in can be rather tricky. Oh, that's the reason. That's interesting. No wonder I couldn't find you. Hi, lovely. I've just added you in. Accepting now.
Hello.
Hello. There you are, Gorge. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's been a rough month. I'm not going to lie. The energies are weird at the moment. How are you finding?
Well, yeah, it has been. I feel like it's been an interesting time.
Yeah.
For us, simply because there's definitely a clear choice between what we want to line up with right now, and we knew that this was going to happen.
But it still is rather painful. I'm getting lots of messages. Are you from clients about what's going on? Kind of angst.
The sense of lost is quite prevalent, and actually largely because I feel like a lot of people are in this place of flux and they're not really sure how to navigate what's coming forward, or how to move forward rather. But what I've been observing in the last week or so, particularly with that Leo full moon, is this really strong light being shone on those really tender parts of us. You know, we've been doing so much shedding in the last few years, and now it's like really just amping up that final push to really bring to light the parts of ourselves that we've, wanted to keep in the shadow, most likely subconsciously, because they're just so tender. So I've actually been seeing it a lot more physically in people. So like underlying illnesses coming up. Yeah, so it's really interesting to observe how it's manifesting for us. So how are you experiencing it?
Experiencing it with asserting my own boundaries. My clients are manifesting things physically as well, which I find very interesting. A lot of people have throat issues. I do as well. And I feel that, it's not that I have, it's just like even now, it needs a clearing. And I've been doing a lot of my own healing work with other practitioners. Like yourself, even. I remember our session. I mean, you have an incredible gift. And the minute you sang into my ear, I left my body. I just want all of my clients to know that, because Kay, I love witnessing people's spiritual gifts, actually.
Me too.
I love nothing more, but the fear is real, I think. We're being tested to see whether or not we're up for the up level.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and I think it's really important to remember that the invitation is to observe our fear but not get drawn into it. And the more that we can step back and just witness it, the more we actually step into that beautiful flow of love that is constantly moving through us. And it's this really big invitation to trust, you know, and let go of that fear. And the more we can do that, the more we can step into the unknown, or whatever the invitation for us is. You know, with this physical manifestation I'm seeing with clients, and I've actually had it around my lymph system. It's, you know, I feel our bodies have been so separated from us. You know, we've outsourced our bodies so much to other forces that it can be a very scary environment to navigate if you want to take ownership of it in your health through, you know, other modalities. And so it's really important to try and stay in that place of witnessing your fear but not getting drawn into it, and that way you can really opt into the really powerful frequency of love and support and trust that's available to us at the moment.
I love that you said that. That echoed something I wrote down for this chat this morning. Exactly. Word for word, verbatim. I wrote, spirituality helps you face the human experience, not suppress it. And so it's not just fear being leveling up. It is things like suppressed anger in your inner child, things like suppressed depression, all these energies that we're holding without being aware. As you mentioned, a lot of it's subconscious. And I was asking Spirit, I mean, I don't know about you, but I love to play. And this morning I got out my little rods, and sometimes pendulum, and I asked, did my soul ask this person to do this to me? And I got a yes. And I'm like, if I can view that, then there is no enemy, because all we have is us playing in this game, and the leveling up is us leveling up into the next level of the game.
My whole body is vibrating. That is such a perfect example, because, you know, when you see it, well, personally, I see what you've just described so often in sessions especially when I do past life clearing, because we're in this life situation and someone is, you know, activating us, triggering us for whatever the reason is. And when I look into that relationship, often there's a past life connection.
Yeah.
And the actual question I ask before I cut any cords is this ready to be brought into completion? And no, then we need to navigate it in a different way. But you're so on point in that there are so many cycles of completion coming in, and we're often just seeing, you know, what's happening directly in our moment to moment experience, but there's always this other multi-dimensional experience attached to it. And sometimes we've had many past lives with these individuals, and it's all kinds of things which are now, if it's the right time on a soul level, is ready to be brought into completion.
Right.
And
where people understand the quantum, the quantum field, and the fact that we are multi-dimensional beings. Because if you can't grasp that, these conversations are really tough for one to absorb, because they're only seeing the here and now. They're only seeing the exchange of whatever triggers or whatever upsets. So that's a really valid point. And these teachings are fairly new for me as well. Like, what's your thoughts though? Like, 'cause Spirit showing me, like, the word past is, it's all happening now. So
yeah, it's, you know, the last year or so in particular, well, since COVID, essentially since 2020, you know, one of the biggest opportunities for humanity has been to, like, destroy their relationship with time as they've known 100%. It. And
using the third eye, that's how I see it. Like,
yeah,
quite hilarious in the orchestration of how things happen, regardless of the difficult soul lessons that we're journeying, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's, you know, really understanding that we are part of these like very big cycles of experience, and, you know, you've got to take it step by step. It took me, you know, it's a journey, and it's easy for me to sit here now and say, yes, everything is happening in this moment. But, you know, even 2 years ago, that would have been a push for me. And so there's got to be those of us here saying things like that to lay the path for those who are on that journey. But wherever you're at in understanding your relationship with time, it's really powerful to start playing with time. And I would love to offer an invitation around that, so that, you know, when you're late for something, this was the first way I started playing with time. If I was late for something, I would observe all my nervous system and everything, all my energy starting to get all constricted, and I started to just relax everything and just commit to, I'm going to be late, it's okay, and just get really, really soft in myself and not stress about it. And then every time I would get to where I needed to be, it was like time had frozen for me.
Oh my
And
God, you are me and I am you. I do the same. I love that you're speaking into this, because people aren't aware of this. And one of my beautiful clients, Helen, messaged me this 2 days ago. I kid you not. She said, I just realized that you can slow time down. I went, oh my gosh, you caught me out. So I've heard from Spirit about 7 years ago that I was no longer bound by time. I understand that Saturn is the timekeeper, and it's all smoke and mirrors, actually. So I started playing with it like you did. If I knew I was going to be late, I stopped setting an alarm. I just stopped clock watching. I was only watching my clock to see my angel numbers, if I'm honest with you.
right,
And that guide me, you know, we always find that a bit of fun. But if I was late, I would say thank you for waiting for me, instead of leaning into the old guilt, shame, you know, feeling really constricted and pulling my energy field in. I just was like, oh, you're me, I'm you, here I am, let's get it on. And when I operate like that, I get so much more done efficiently.
100%. Because, you know, I always say I'll be there at the perfect time. And
I love that.
Perfect time. So when someone's late for whatever reason, or they can't show up, I'm like, you're not meant to be here. It's okay. And it's not a bad thing. So even, you know, we've got this event this weekend. This is such a great example of that. So we had this perfectly round number. And I said to you yesterday, I was like, I feel really good about the number of people. I don't promote it anymore. I'm happy to just call it that. And then overnight, 2 people have had to pull out for various reasons. And I was just it's so perfect knowing that the energy shifted and 2 new souls are being called into for this experience we've got coming in. And, you know, when you're operating from this place of everyone that's coming in is coming in for the right reasons, to be in service to me, so I might be in service to them, so we co-create, whether it's a client needing support or not, it's always a co-creation between us, right? And so it's just when you're coming from this position of trusting that everything is in its perfection, then you're in flow, right? And that's, as you say, you have time. All of a sudden I can have what feels like 1,000 things to do in a day, but when I'm coming from this place of I'm just going to let it all flow naturally and easily, you know, time just arrives and it feels really, really easy, actually.
100%.
So yeah, fun.
It is state, which is right brain, which is where the spiritual brain sits, for those that know, and it is the state of empowerment, actually. And I manage even my weekly sound healings here at Good Space the same way. Some weeks it's full and to capacity and I have to upgrade the space. Other weeks it's just a few, but I honor the few, because sometimes it's about the unity of the energy that's necessary for what's going to happen for that particular gathering, which excites me.
That's exactly right. It's you know, I always feel it's like a tapestry, and each of us is a thread, and we all come together and we weave more magic, you know, and that's it. It's just knowing that the right people are coming, and that's just this increasing invitation to just let go of this need to control.
Yes.
And step out of that place of survival and fear and into that place of abundance and trust that we're held by this, you know, this divinity, this light, this magnificent energy that we live in moving through us. And yeah, it's actually a really beautiful way to exist.
Yeah, I've just been posting about that this week, actually, in that I feel like I've surrendered control for trying to manipulate and control things. Trust me, I'm really good at it, the old me. But what I've been shifting the last month particularly is the desire to control the outcome for others, or feeling responsible for others as like almost like a mama guardian bear. I don't know what it is in me that tries to rescue so much. I mean, you can only do your best. But the word witness you used really struck out to me. Can you speak into the witnessing of things? Because I understand this word to be incredibly powerful if people are on their journey.
Yes. This is something that I've really been working with a lot, actually, since beginning of this year, and it's really it's I'm not going to lie, it is a challenging thing to do initially, but it's about setting the intention to literally close your eyes, lie down, and just observe the thoughts that come in, and you'll just start thinking, essentially. And the invitation is to just observe your thoughts instead of being pulled into the feeling of them, because our thoughts come, the vibration comes first and then the thought. So thoughts are always attached to feelings, and so our ability to have our thoughts come in with the feelings that are attached to them, that person's upset me, or I'm worried about this, whatever it might be. And then the invitation is to catch yourself in the moment of seeing your thoughts, so stepping out of them and being able to bear witness to them. And when we do that, what we do is we actually step back into this loving awareness, and this is when we really connect with source that's flowing through us. And as we observe the thought in our mind, we turn this really powerful force of light and love onto these thoughts. And these thoughts are often driven by fear and ego, essentially, and under this strong gaze of this loving light, they actually can't sustain themselves, and they will dissipate and disappear.
Yeah, that is the quantum theory in a nutshell, and that is the heavenly court case that some others may speak about in different languages. I'm really pleased that you are tracking that as well. I've been using this method for the last 10 years, and it really works, because if not, we ride that wave and we grow emotions on that wave of energy, and we actually end up co-creating scenarios that then require an inner critic, which that means loop repeat.
It is, and that's it. You just get caught up in this endless cycle, and you know it's so amazing, because it's all feeling, essentially. That's really how it all plays out. And when you are able to just catch yourself in how you feel in that moment, that tells you the energy that you're holding and the energy you're emitting, because we manifest from the inside out. And so what we're feeling in here is the lens through which our energy moves, and that's where we're creating from and how we create into our field. And so if we find ourselves in this really tight, controlling or fear-based place, we have the opportunity to simply relax. Just relax. We don't need to mentally understand the constructs of anything, actually. If we can just, every time we feel tight, just relax. And as we do that, we allow our system to expand. And when we do that, this energy that moves through us flows more easily, and it helps us manifest from a better place. So,
Adrian's asking, is that what creates an egregore? I would say yes, because we're groupthink people. We are energetic beings, hive mind, that catch another person's feelings and we're not even aware of it. So that takes some going inward as well, to actually sit and ask yourself, is this wave mine or is it somebody else's?
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, because, you know, we are a collective, we are a mass. And so I used to be very aware of what was mine and what wasn't, especially as we know in the field that we operate in, and the fact that we do what we do, we're very able to move and shift and absorb, etc. And then I kind of landed in a place of, I just need to make sure that I'm being as careful as I can. And whenever I find myself asking, is this mine or somebody else's, I just raise my vibration of love, because it doesn't matter, right? It's, you know, what I'm putting out. Sorry?
At soul level, we're one. So I think that's those that have this awareness to have these types of conversations. It's kind of like a sacred responsibility in my mind to actually alchemize for those that aren't conscious of these discussions yet, maybe. What would you think?
agree more. I could, I think we do have, I mean, our first responsibility, to be honest, is how we're showing up personally, what we're bringing to the table and how we're transforming that which in us needs to be transformed, because then we're showing up with vigilance, and we're showing up with support, and we are part of the collective. What we bring in is amplified by those around us, and holding that center is really key to that. And I think we need to be, when we're energetic, we have to be very aware of the stories that we allow ourselves to line up with. And the stories around protection can be very, very tricky, because it's almost as if once we start feeling we need it, then we do.
Yes.
We create the threat. So we have to be very aware of where we're where we're mentally attuning ourselves.
I was discussing this with a friend, Jackie, who's a numerologist, last week, and speaking into even the shielding up. We've all done it, and we've all talked about it in our sessions, but we started dialogue in the fact that if I'm already seated here with these knowings, they're knowings, right? Like they're soul knowings that have dropped. If I'm still asking for shielding, that then is a seed of doubt. And I was like going, oh my gosh, yes, like we should expect to be shielded at this level of conversation. And so it's all in the verbiage, and all in the expectation of the tapping back into source and the knowing who you are once you have had things opened for you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is the conversation of our time, because I think we've spent a lot of time in denser energy, to be honest. But that kind of process has been required. I feel like where we are now, the requirement is to consciously walk into a space and amplify the light. And that should be the focus, instead of creating shields to protect. And I'm not saying don't use them, it feels right. But really the invitation to me is really to, when we create space this weekend, we, as I said, we're going to meet everyone as they come in, and that's going to be an amplification of their light process, so that when everyone goes into that space, it's already filled with light, and we just oscillate and vibrate and elevate from that.
Yes. So, and when you operate like that, it dispels darkness. They either catch up to you or they run, they just vibrate out. I don't mean the word run, but some do. Some fly.
Exactly right. And I remember, back in the day, I cleared a few spaces. People would ask me to go to their home and clear a space, and I would walk in, and my whole feeling was, prepare yourselves, I'm coming. And that was, I would walk in and I'm like, the light has arrived, leave now, and it was that mentality that, allowed me to let that light shine. And
one of my favorite things to do as well, I also do clearings for businesses and houses, and I 100% agree with that approach, because if not, why are you doing it?
Well, this is it. And and I feel like in the process of doing this, you are enabling the people that live there to align with you and maintain that level of energy.
Yes.
Because, we walk out of the space, and it's about how it's sustained as well. So it's, it's just always coming back to, as individuals, what are we contributing and how are we observing our own light? Because the more that we focus on our own lane and really, nurture and foster that light within ourselves, one, the happier we'll be, and two, the more that we can be amplified by those around us who will feel inspired and encouraged to embody the same thing. So
season of the gurus over. What's your thought on that? I feel like we as leaders, as servant hearts, when I say the word leader, that's what I mean as servant hearts, is to empower another to know this stuff and to step into their own light, because it's accessible for all equally.
100%. It's funny, when I was tuning into the energy of this year, one phrase that came up that was very powerful was pioneer of the heart, which I feel is exactly what you're saying. And I feel that that's what we're really individually being invited to recognize, is that each of us is a pioneer of the heart, and we're able to, each of us is a channel. Every single one of us is a multidimensional being. And sure, some of us have come in with the understanding of that, in a much clearer way. And so we're embodying it. That's all we're doing, or striving to embody it as much as we can. And that's why sitting in circle is so powerful now. It's power with, it's no longer power over. And it's really about, you know, most of my clients, when they ask me a question, my stock response is, well, what do you feel? Because that's the muscle I encourage them to flex. It's your own intuition, it's your own heart song.
The light serves as a mirror. That's all the light does. The light is the mirror so that you can see self and see what needs shifting. And once we understand this, it's just such an empowered position to sit in. And there's so much hope for the future, because as you know, it's like a little spark in the bushfire. I remember Spirit saying this to me about 20 years ago when I was doing a speaking engagement. And I heard, you're going to ignite a bushfire here. Back then I really comprehend what the message was, but I do now, because words are like little seeds, right? They're part of my thought process already, and my thought process is already woven in with this golden energy. So is yours, Kay, and so those seeds have been given 20 years to sprout and grow, and I trust they.
That's it. That's it. We are harvesters, really, and
Yep.
and that's just the invitation we have every single moment of every day. You know, it's also very easy for us to get caught up in when we do a session, or when we do an event, or when we sit down to meditate, then we drop into the sacred. And I feel that right now the invitation, you know, I did a channel last week with the Pleiadians, and they were like, the way you drink water is sacred. You know, it's every single experience is sacred. And it's once we start to really embody that, and I feel like that's really happening right now. We're going through this experience of deep embodiment where we're recognizing our capabilities, actually, and that's where this severance is coming back in, because our fear around our capabilities, can I really do that? Can I be I've got a lot of people at the moment, clients, that are like, hey, I really feel I can channel, can you support me? And I'm like, if you feel that, you can. It's really confidence now. This is the key. It's really finding the courage. It's one thing to be seen by those around you. It's another thing to have the courage to let yourself be seen. And it's really big for now.
It is, because people ask me that. You've had sessions with me too. Like, I channel as I'm working on your field. If the client wants that, I always ask. I don't like free will for that type of thing, but it took me decades to have the confidence to open my mouth, and sometimes, as you know, it's batshit cray to the human mind of what you're seeing and feeling or intuiting, but I realized that every time I opened my mouth, it was accurate, and that then builds this trust relationship with spirit that just feels so euphoric. I can't explain it in any better word. Whereas, okay, my life's chaos, but I trust that I'm hearing, and so we're good. Like, I want this for everybody, actually, to trust your intuition. All of us hear spirit in different ways. Some are clairaudient, some are clairsentient. There's, all the clairs. I don't even know why it's called Claire, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And what I'd like to finish with, actually, really quickly, because I have to go, is I'm observing a lot of clients awakening in sessions into the understanding that they are actually going to become light beings. So they're going to do work on this earth that has never been done before. This is work that is now being remembered into their being. And so if you are not sure where you're going, but you have these abilities, just trust the journey, because the reality is, if someone had said to me, you're going to be XYZ, Arkaylalove, I would never have known how to get there or what to do. And no one could tell me that, because this wasn't there then, and so it's really trusting that what we're moving into now in this golden age that we're in is unseen. And so we need to be open-minded and accepting within ourselves and of the people around us, because the changes are going to be coming thick and fast.
I have seen visions of the supernatural giftings pouring in thick and fast. do feel inclined to finish up this conversation with our invite to please take the last 2 seats at our event this Sunday, because it's going to be bomb.com. With blessing using light language, or is that putting you on the spot?
Not at all, not at all. Ima. Iau ma say. Iau samai si. Iana ae. Kiau ranama aki. Shuma. Uma. Shoo. The invitation is laid.
So electric, Kay. I am so looking forward to this. Please know, those on Echo Circle, my sessions with Kay, my soul left my body. Like, I was around on the table. This is going to be amazing. I'm honored to work beside you, sweetheart. I'm so grateful for the invitation. The timing couldn't be more perfect. And I honor the in you. You're a beautiful soul. Thank you
so much, sister. I'm super excited to send you love, and those for listening, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing the perfect souls at the perfect event on Sunday.
Yeah, lots of love. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful 11 o'clock session on a day 11 from a birth number. I love you.
Bye everyone.